All right, so we've got Dell Technologies Q3 earnings report for fiscal year 2025.
Yeah, always an interesting one to look at.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You sent over their press release and the SEC filing,
hmm
um, and it looks like we've got some pretty big numbers to dig into.
Yeah, for sure.
So right away, the press release really emphasizes AI.
Mhm.
Feels like every company that we look at these days is trying to figure out how to leverage AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Dell's certainly kind of positioning themselves as a leader, especially on that infrastructure side.
Yeah, and they've got some pretty impressive numbers to back that up.
Yeah, right.
Their infrastructure solutions group, so ISG saw a huge jump in revenue, 34%,
Wow.
up to like $11.4 billion. So a big chunk of that is coming directly from those AI solutions.
Yeah, so we're talking servers and networking, right?
Absolutely.
58% increase year over year. That's not just like a little blip. That's a pretty major shift.
Yeah, it really is, yeah. It shows that businesses are moving beyond just kind of experimenting with AI and actually committing serious resources, like putting their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, yeah,
And Dell is definitely reaping the rewards of being ready with the hardware that can handle those increasingly demanding workloads.
yeah. And it's not just that they're selling the servers, but they're actually seeing, I mean, massive orders.
True. Yeah.
$3.6 billion in AI server orders just this quarter.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling.
And then their AI pipeline has increased by 50%.
Right.
I mean, their vice chairman even said in a quote, AI shows no signs of slowing down.
Yeah. So, I mean, are they putting all their eggs in the AI basket? Is that what we're seeing here?
It seems like it, right? I mean, at least that's what they want us to think, or at least they
Right.
want investors to think.
Right.
This is their future, and it's only going to get bigger.
Makes you wonder, like, what does it mean for the companies that aren't going all in on AI? You know, are they going to be left behind?
Right. It's like we're at the starting line of a race, and some of the runners are already like sprinting ahead, and
Yeah.
others are still, tying their shoes.
Exactly.
But it's not all sunshine and roses for Dell, though, is it? Because their client solutions group, the CSG, which includes PCs, did see a bit of a dip this quarter.
True. Yeah. Overall revenue for CSG was down just slightly, like 1%.
Okay.
But if you look a little deeper, it's those consumer PC sales that are taking a hit, like down 18%.
Oh, wow.
That's a substantial drop. But commercial sales are up 3%, so at least that kind of softens the blow.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes you wonder if this is, the pandemic PC boom is officially over.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of people who needed laptops for work from home or for school already bought them in the last couple of years.
Exactly, yeah.
So what does that even mean for Dell's PC business in the long run?
It's a good question. Are they going to double down on those commercial sales?
Ha.
Try to re-spark consumer interest? Or branch out into something totally new? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, even with these mixed results, across segments, Dell is still bringing in some hefty profits.
Yeah, they are.
Their operating income is up 12% year over year,
Wow.
hitting $1.7 billion.
Healthy numbers.
Diluted earnings per share are up a solid 16% to $1.58.
Yeah, those are good numbers for sure. But one thing that stood out to me was that cash flow from operations is actually down 28% year over year.
Ooh.
Not insignificant, even with a $6.6 billion cash position.
Is that a sign that there might be some trouble brewing beneath the surface? Or is it just kind of a temporary thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say for sure at this point, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Right.
Sometimes cash flow can be an early warning sign, even when profits look good on paper.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got this really interesting mix.
Yeah.
We've got this explosive growth in AI.
Right?
We've got a more subdued performance in storage and PCs, and then this question mark about their cash flow.
A lot to unpack.
So it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think the next thing we need to look at is how all of this fits into Dell's overall strategy,
Right.
in the larger tech landscape. They're making some big bets, but are they the right ones? That's what we need to figure out.
I like it. All right, let's dig in.
Let's go.
So are they putting all their eggs in one basket with this big AI push?
Well, I mean, it certainly seems like they're betting big on it,
Yeah.
but I think it's worth remembering that Dell's always been a company that knows how to adapt.
Right.
So I don't think it's necessarily a case of them putting all their eggs in one basket, more like they're shifting their weight.
Okay.
They see where the momentum is and they're moving in that direction.
So you don't think they're neglecting their other products?
Not necessarily, no. Look at their storage business, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
Revenue there did increase. It reached $4 billion for the quarter.
Okay, but I mean that 4% growth, it's pretty tiny compared to that 58% jump we saw in servers and networking.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And it does make you wonder if, are they just riding the AI wave because they know it's hot right now? Or are they actually strategically shifting resources to prioritize AI infrastructure?
And if they are prioritizing AI, does that mean they're giving up on these other areas like storage?
I don't think so. I think it's more about them reimagining those areas for the AI age.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
Well, think about it. Instead of just selling traditional storage solutions,
You know,
what if they're looking at how to integrate AI into their storage offerings?
oh, interesting.
Right. You could have AI-powered storage solutions that can predict failures before they happen, or optimize data placement, or even identify potential security threats.
That's a really cool
It
idea.
could be a game changer,
Yeah.
especially for businesses dealing with these massive amounts of data.
Okay, so maybe they're not giving up on storage. They're just kind of, like you said, rethinking it.
Right.
But what about PCs? I mean, consumer sales are down,
Right.
and even though commercial sales are okay for now, I mean, the long term, who knows?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one option is to double down on those enterprise solutions, right? Focus on those high-performance workstations that are specifically tailored for things like AI development.
Yeah.
But they could also try to, breathe some life back into the consumer PC line.
How would they do that?
Well, I mean, this is where they could really leverage their AI expertise.
Okay.
Imagine PCs that are, like, truly intelligent.
Oh, wow.
They learn your preferences, they anticipate your needs, they seamlessly integrate with all your other devices.
That'd be pretty cool.
Right. It'd be a bold move, but it could really pay off.
Okay. But they're not the only ones who are, trying to figure out this whole AI thing, right? So how do they stand out?
Well, that's where they're going to need to get creative. Strategic acquisitions could be key.
What do you mean?
Well, bringing in some of those smaller AI startups that have really niche expertise,
Oh.
or cutting-edge technology that Dell might not have in-house.
But I mean, integrating those startups into a big company like Dell, that can be tricky.
It can be, yeah. It's not always easy for big companies to be agile.
Right.
But, Dell does have a history of successful acquisitions.
Yeah, that's true.
They've shown that they're not afraid to embrace new technologies and new ways of doing business.
So it's this balance
It is, yeah.
of being this established player, but also being innovative.
Exactly.
That's tricky.
It is. But if they can pull it off, they'll be in a really good spot to lead the charge in this whole AI revolution.
Okay. So we keep talking about AI and all these big plans, but we also saw that their overall cash flow from operations is down
Yeah.
significantly. Does that worry you at all?
I mean, it's definitely something to keep an eye on because declining cash flow can be a sign of problems even when revenue looks good and profits look good.
So are they overextending themselves with all this AI investment?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, building out these massive data centers, developing new AI solutions, that doesn't come cheap.
Right.
And it could be that they're kind of front-loading those investments,
Okay.
knowing that the payoff might not come right away.
So playing the long game.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially in a fast-moving market like AI, but it does come with risks.
This is a lot more complex than I think I initially realized.
Yeah,
It's not just about, picking the right technology. It's about managing your resources
absolutely.
and making these really, really strategic decisions that could have a big impact down the road.
It really is. And I think that brings us to a really important question.
Okay.
What does Dell's situation tell us about the bigger picture? What can we learn from what they're doing right? And what can we learn from their mistakes?
I like it.
Let's dive into that.
It's pretty amazing, right? Just by looking at one company's earnings report, we're suddenly talking about this huge technological shift that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're looking at a microcosm of the whole tech industry.
Yeah.
Dell's story it's kind of a reflection of the bigger trends that are happening, the opportunities, the challenges.
And it's not just about the tech industry either, right? I mean, this whole AI revolution has the potential to change, everything, really.
Yeah, I mean, think about healthcare, education, transportation, every industry is going to be impacted.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing, but also kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. It's a double-edged sword for sure.
So, we've talked about some of the potential downsides.
Yeah.
Job losses, the potential for AI to be used for for bad stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, how do we even make sure that AI is developed responsibly and used ethically?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I don't think there's any easy answers.
Yeah.
It's going to require a real joint effort, like governments, businesses, researchers, everyday people all working together.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to start having some serious conversations
Yeah,
about the ethics of this whole thing.
absolutely. And we need to start having them now
Yeah.
before it's too late.
So what are some of the things that we should be thinking about?
Well, first of all, we got to make sure that AI systems are fair
Okay.
and that they're not biased against certain groups of people.
Right, yeah.
We can't just have algorithms that perpetuate inequalities that already exist.
Yeah, and I mean we got to think about jobs
Mm-hmm.
because as AI gets more sophisticated,
Yeah,
some jobs are just going to disappear.
right.
So how do we prepare for that?
Right. How do we make sure that people have the skills they need to thrive in this new economy?
Right.
And then there's the whole issue of privacy and security. I mean,
Yeah.
AI systems are collecting huge amounts of data.
Yeah, so how do we make sure that information is protected?
Exactly.
This is a lot bigger than just, whether Dell makes the right decisions
Mm.
or whether AI is the next big thing. I mean, we're talking about the future, really.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about what kind of world we want to live in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a really important takeaway from all of this.
Yeah,
We started by looking at a company's earnings report,
right.
but we ended up having this much bigger conversation
It's true.
about AI and the role that it's going to play.
Yeah, and the choices that we need to make as a society.
It's a good reminder that technology is never neutral.
Right.
It reflects, our values, our biases.
Yeah, and our hopes for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we develop these new technologies, these powerful technologies like AI, I think we all have a responsibility to use them in a way that's beneficial to everyone.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that was a pretty fascinating deep dive.
It was.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us, and we hope this has given you a lot to think about. The future's coming, whether we're ready for it or not.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I think the important thing is that we're having these conversations.
Absolutely.
And we're thinking about these things.
And that we're making conscious choices about the kind of world we want to create.
Exactly. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.
That's the key.
And remember, the future is what we make it.